There is quite literally nothing better than going into a movie and not knowing what the hell to expect. Sometimes that's the best way to do it, just go in completely blind. This, for me, was one of those movies, and this movie, for me, is probably the best action movie I am going to see this year. It was balls to the wall, batshit crazy nuts. I loved it, and we're going to talk about it. It's called Cop Secret. I mean, that title alone, right? Hello everybody and welcome back to Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for all of your news, reviews and exclusive interviews. We like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget, with a special keen interest on the lower end of the scale. That's where my heart lives, it's where it lies, and this one is kind of in between. It's not really high budget, it's not exactly low budget. It has a budget, I'm just not sure how much. But before we do get into the review, please do all those amazing things that I like to ask everyone to do, and that is to like this video, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell. And let everybody know about us. If you're not going to do those things, at least tell people who we are, where we are, and how they can find us. We put a lot of effort into these videos, we put a lot of effort into the channel, and we just want people to find it. We're doing pretty well. We're on the road to 1K subscribers, which doesn't sound like a lot, but to us, it means everything. We are currently on like 850 odd, which is great. We'll get there when we get there. And I can't wait to hit that 1K and celebrate that milestone with you. Please do check out other videos that I have on the channel. I'm currently doing a series with my daughter, my 11-year-old daughter, who is just way better at booking WWE shows than I am. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to roll into the review of Cop Secret, your favourite action movie of 2022. I guarantee it. And we're going to talk about it. So let's just roll into that right now. And if you've seen this channel, if you've seen my videos, if you've seen my reviews, you will know by now that I follow a very particular track. I will talk about the plot of this movie. I will talk about the cast and the crew of this movie. Don't get me wrong, really wish I could pronounce half of these names, so I'll probably not be actually saying who some of these guys are, but I will be telling you who they play in the movie. Then I will talk about what I did and what I didn't like about this movie, and then I'll move into my Nerdly Out Loud rating of Cop Secret, which is my rating, not the rating of Nerdly as a whole, but, well, you know the rest. So the plot of this movie follows just about every buddy cop action movie of the 80s and 90s, 2000s you have ever seen. That's why you love it. It's a formula that's always worked since the dinosaurs were wiped out by that massive big meteorite. It always worked. You're gonna love it. Just sit down and let everything wash over you. This is fun. We meet Bussi. Bussi is a hard-ass, tough-as-nail cop who does not take any crap. He's gonna chase you down, cross the border. Doesn't matter where his jurisdiction ends, he's coming to get you. Like, you think of all of your favorite action cop superheroes, that's this guy. But he's kind of in competition with Hordur, or Hordor, pretty boy cop, who also takes no crap, takes no prisoners, shoots first, asks questions later, and they're in a competition because they're both on either sides of the border of Reykjavik, and they basically want to one-up each other at every step of the way. One of them is tough as nails, runs around like John McClane, and the other one's tough as nail, but he's more of a Mel Gibson kind of guy. He's more of a Riggs, because he's the pretty boy. So the two of them are constantly butting heads, and the two of them are constantly in the news all over the place. There's actually parts of this movie where they're being followed by sort of like a cops kind of TV show, which I really enjoyed. I really did like. And so because they're always up against each other, they're always coming into the same crimes. They have taken out most of the crime, but there is one group, this one gang, who keep robbing banks. But they start to realize that they're not actually taking anything. They're going into the bank and they're doing all the hard work, but they're not actually taking the money. Why? We begin to find something out. And you know what? I don't think this is a spoiler. I believe I can say this part of the movie because, well, if you go on IMDb, it's in the bloody synopsis. It turns out Bussi is a gay man. He's a closeted gay man. He hasn't come out. He doesn't really know that he is gay at the start of the movie, but he's going to work that out as the movie goes on. And that, for me, like, it came completely out of left field, but I loved it. I couldn't get on board with this any more than I possibly did. Turns out that Hordur is gay, but he's like openly gay, and that's cool. Everybody knows that. And Bussi kind of has a little bit of a thing for him. So this buddy cop thing where the two of them are button heads, kind of like Tango and Cash did, but then Tango and Cash become friends. Well, these guys become friends. Lovers. Friends. I didn't know that was coming, because I didn't look at the trailers. I didn't look at the... Well, I saw the trailer. The trailer was badass. But I didn't look at the synopsis or anything like that. I didn't know anything about the movie apart from what I saw in the trailer. And the trailer just made me want to watch it because it looked like every action movie I've ever loved, ever. And so when that happened, I kind of just instantly got on board with it. It was nuts. They played with that sort of vibe as well. And they really played into it. The characters are having fun with it. The actors are having fun with it. It is one of these things where you just buy it instantly. And then, of course, you've got to go through the motions. You've got to go through trying to catch the bank robbers. Everything they do kind of does and doesn't work. They're always still trying to one-up each other. You've got the main villain of the movie, who's pretty badass, to be honest. And then you've got all the little quirky side characters that you would expect to be in one of these movies. I don't want to talk too much about the plot anymore because, well, I've pretty much just told you the plot. If you've seen Bad Boys, you know what's going to happen in this movie. Only Mike and Marcus will probably have sex at some point. That's right. So let's talk about the cast and crew. Again, I'm not going to try and pronounce some of these names. I will absolutely butcher them. That is just... They're Icelandic names. First of all, I do want to talk about the director straight off the bat. Hannes Þór Halldórsson. That I feel like I got pretty close there. He is actually the national Icelandic goalkeeper. Apparently, he's always wanted to make movies. He's made adverts and music videos and stuff like that. He's always wanted to do movies, but it turns out he was a pretty good goalkeeper, so he's been doing that for a little while. I think he has been wasting his talent. Yes, he's a good goalkeeper, of course he is, but as a director who knows what he's doing, keeps his tongue firmly in his cheek, and just vibes on the movie that he's making. Cop Secret is 100% the movie that if I was to make a movie and I wanted to make an action movie, this is the movie I would make. He's absolutely smashed this out of the park for a first time kind of feature. It just knows what it is, it knows what it wants to be, and everybody on board is loving this movie. So let's move into the cast. So your main characters, Bussi and Hordur, are absolutely fantastic in this movie. I imagine that they're probably best friends offset as well, because just the chemistry between the two is phenomenal. And I'm not talking about like he fancies him. I'm talking about just the bro chemistry really works. At the start, when they're knocking heads against each other and it's not really going too well, it works. And then when they start to realize that actually they're a pretty formidable team, it works. And then when they come together towards the end of the movie to really bond and to really get in there and take everyone out and do the mission that they're there to do, it bloody works. Both these guys firing on all cylinders. The one-liners they are given are nailed just wonderfully. There's a scene in there where Bussi's interrogating someone and he's just basically, he's that cop that breaks all the rules when it comes to interrogation. And the woman turns around to him, because it's a woman that he's smacking off the table, because why wouldn't you? When he's doing that, she kind of says, you broke my finger. And he just turns around and he looks at her and goes, here's another one. Like, just one-liners like that, absolutely smashed out the park. These two guys are wonderful. The woman who plays the police chief, again, wonderful. I absolutely loved her. Take no shit. She's like every police chief in every cop movie who shouts every line she has. There is no dialing it down. There is no stepping back. It's just constantly shouting at everybody. loved it. And then you've got the rest of the quirky team that, to be perfectly honest, are all nailing it. Like, they've all got quirky little lines, quirky little bits of dialogue. If you don't mind watching subtitled movies, I really think you're in for a treat here. So I'll tell you what, let's just move into what I did and didn't like. And what I did like is the overall vibe of this film. The trailer sold me from the outset. I'm not going to lie. It had the 80s, 90s, early 2000s music sitting over the top. It had that opening from Bad Boys, you know, when it goes over, the plane goes over the Miami sign, only it's the Rajovac sign. Just absolutely brilliant. They even have a scene halfway through the movie, and you know it's coming. This is the best part. You know it's coming, where the two guys blown up in an explosion, thrown right back, as you always do. And when they stand up, oh yes, it's the slow Michael Bay panning around of that Bad Boys Made Famous. You know, you get that scene. That last standoff that you know is coming is like Face Off in a nutshell. Just kind of, here we go. We're going to stand on either side of this thing, and you're going to be there, I'm going to be there, and then we're going to turn around and face each other. You know, there's a reason it works. Because it's bloody good. It's tension-filled, and it just works every step of the way. There is actually nothing that I didn't like about this movie. Maybe there's a little bit of lost in translation stuff, because obviously you're watching it, you're not watching it dubbed, you're watching it subtitled, and you're not really sure. But then you've got some characters who actually talk English, which is brilliant. Like the main bad guy, Ricky Ferrari, who is a great bad guy, by the way. Total, like, think Jason Patrick in Losers. He's got that vibe going for him, and it's just great. Did I just reference Losers? Did anybody see Losers? I love Losers. It's one of my favorite movies out there. Like, comic book movies wise, I think it's pretty flawless. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and a whole bunch of other great actors. But yeah, I can't really come up with anything that would be a negative towards this movie. It would just be a nitpick for nitpick's sake, so I'm not going to bother. So I may as well move into my final rating of Cop Secret, which I still think is one of the best names for a movie you could have. Just, it's wonderful, and it totally works, because obviously he's keeping a secret from himself. He's a cop. Cop Secret. It works. It's like Ron Seal. It does what it says on the tin. So yeah, Cop Secret for me, it's a straight up 5 out of 5. It's a banger of a movie. You're going to have such a good time watching it. Just like some of the things that they do in this film, and it's almost like they're making like Loaded Weapon again, but in Iceland. Because there are some parts of this movie that are just cockamamie, like, what are you on about? Like, there's a bit where the henchman, the bad guy's running down Chinatown, and then Hordur like shoots a dose of fireworks, and it just makes this huge massive explosion, and then the police chief's like, $7,000 worth of damage, and you're like, no, they've just blown up part of Chinatown, like a good portion of it. That's more than £7,000. But that's what works with the movie. That's what makes me laugh. It's what keeps the child inside me alive, the teenage boy inside me who was watching these movies as a kid. Watch The Rock, watch Face Off, watch Bad Boys, watch Lethal Weapon, Beverly Hills Cop. All these amazing action, Tango and Cash, Last Action Hero. The list goes on. All these amazing action movies that I just fell in love with. And this movie 100% reminded me of every single one of them. If you don't mind subtitled movies, if you like a good foreign movie, give this a watch. Straight out of Iceland. Probably like a millionth of the budget that something like Fast and the Furious had. But anyway, Cop Secret, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. I genuinely think this movie's great. You will love it. You will have such a good time watching it. Get some beers, get the boys round, watch this movie. You will not regret that choice. I'm going to go, because I'm just going to ramble on more about how much I love this movie. Yes, it's great. Cinematography's awesome, music's awesome, acting's awesome, dialogue's awesome. Just great. So please do all those wonderful, amazing things that we always ask you to do, and that is to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and ding that notification bell. Have you seen Cop Secret? If you have, hit me up in the comments. Let me know you saw it. Let me know what you thought of it. And what is your rating of this movie? Did you make it to the end? Were you surprised by the whole gay romance thing? I was, but I was on board for it. These guys had already sold me on this movie. You could have done anything. And I'm still watching it to the end. I loved it. What a film this was. Top secret.